Prime Minister Narendra Modi concludes France and Slovakia. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the news. First, let us take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi concludes France and Slovakia visit after G7 summit participation and high-level talks with global leaders. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman inaugurates Northeast's largest organic spice processing unit in Ribhoi district. Rising tourist footfall in Meghalaya sparks concerns over environmental sustainability and visitor safety. And Meghalaya marks International Day of Yoga as Health Minister announces Ayush Medical College plan in West Giant Hills. The news in detail, and first the local news. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today inaugurated Northeast India's largest organic spice processing unit at Bhoirambong in Ribhoi district. Developed at a cost of 32 crore rupees, the facility can process over 10,000 metric tons of organic spices annually and is expected to benefit around 5,500 farmers across the region. The event was also attended by Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma and Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang. In her speech, Sitharaman said the future of agriculture lies in quality, sustainability, traceability and value addition. Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma has described the project as a game-changing initiative for Meghalaya's farming community.
With an investment of approximately 32 crores, this first organically certified spice processing facility in the Northeast is designed to process approximately 10,000 metric tons of high-value organic spices annually, including ginger, turmeric, black pepper and chili. So it has a cold storage, it has a dry storage, wet storage, washing area, drying and pulverizing facility. It is expected to benefit approximately 5,500 organic farmers, about which the Honorable CM clearly mentioned that it has reached to these many number of organic farmers, and therefore the entire families benefit.
It has been the endeavor of our government to precisely make those small changes in our farmers' lives. For us, one of the most important driving factors, and for me, maybe one of the most important objectives, is to be able to make a positive difference in a person's life. And I always tell even a large gathering that for me, when I can make a person smile and I can impact their lives, which would lead to them smiling, I think that is the greatest satisfaction that I can get. And for me, that is maybe one of the most important motivational factors also.
With tourist arrivals in Meghalaya reaching record highs, Concerns are mounting over overcrowding at ecologically sensitive destinations in Sora, including Nok Kalikai Falls, Wei Saudong and Linxiar Falls. Stakeholders warn that unchecked visitor numbers could threaten fragile ecosystems. Federation of Shillong Hotels President Parambir Singh Sedev has called for visitor management measures, including dynamic pricing, to regulate footfall. He also raised concerns over incidents of tourists being harassed by drug abusers in Shillong and said the matter has been reported to the police.
We have seen that the number of drug abusers, especially in and around police bazaar areas, have drastically increased. And they are having drugs, they are waiting in alleys and in corners of entire police bazaar and joining areas, and got into the habit of demanding money from people, harassing, robbing, all for the drugs that they need to buy. Of late, what has happened is there are numerous incidents of tourists being harassed has been brought to our notice, and that's when we were alarmed and we have approached the Superintendent of Police to do something to stop this menace.
The National Ayush Mission Meghalaya observed the International Day of Yoga at Kim Musnyang Indoor Hall in West Giant Hills under the theme Yoga for Healthy Aging. The program was attended by Health and Family Welfare Minister Wailat Miki Shilla along with health officials and community leaders. Addressing the gathering, Shilla encouraged citizens to adopt yoga for a healthier lifestyle and highlighted its numerous health benefits. He also announced the government's commitment to establishing an Ayush Medical College in West Giant Hills. The event concluded with a yoga demonstration led by Dr. Thremonmi Bamon and Dr. Bonnie T. Hing.
Ayush Medical College as well here in Meghalaya, and I will try that this college will be set up in Giant Hills, because like I said, Ayush has become very, very important, because most of this disease we are having, it's because of our lifestyle. So that's why it's very important to change our lifestyle. So I'll urge you, please, as a student, be an example to others, be an ambassador to spread this awareness, this message. Start from your family itself.
The District Legal Services Authority, West Khasi Hills, organized an awareness program at Miryao Village on the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007 and various social welfare schemes for senior citizens. Legal Aid Council Smiti L. Nongrem highlighted the legal rights and protections available to senior citizens, including maintenance, property and inheritance rights. DSWO representative Smiti D. Jarin informed participants about central government welfare schemes, including assistive devices such as wheelchairs and hearing aids, and urged eligible beneficiaries to register and avail the benefits.
Nani kani kecing kelah ke imlas alang bun hi kita men kisah klem kecing sumar kecing kecang ke babiang. Nama teng mo kikun kikiru kilaya bun kam kim dan forshu ban pet jala kijong kikun kimikpa sakawairu teng kikun kilay kelah shawai pat shaki state dan shikijalla. Kim dan por kin ban kim dan kikit kapor lan ban kata kapor ban pet yaki kimikpa. Dina kata kadaw ban ni kaan kaya ka kepangakum kita ki kimikpa kiba makum ya kita kijing kita ki situation dan kita ki rukam
kadang kata skim ko grant in aid for voluntary organization ko skim na ko itu kiba dan komon ban place mon subhana ko ki baduna do khatbe na kabanta ki kin thei ki khna ki basha le ben ki basha le ben na kabanta ki tenmen ro gadon ka skim ka ni ka gran hadu menta hadu kini kisni ni shamba what habis kas hilu kampadan kum ongi kong mene kata kajar jakari tenmen jakapa ki tenmen namarba kina sungu bagi kun ki jongi kidang I jongi kidang sumarhi kidang bun kapor hendrai ngoong hafiba hooj wala da kata ngasu kumakadan kam kum kane ka diker law wala da kambe taka ka home ka shelter home bandri ki tenmen re pila bandu kum ka diker mo.
The National Ayush Mission West Garo Hills observed the 12th International Day of Yoga 2026 at the district indoor sports hall Hawakhana under the theme Yoga for Healthy Aging. Around 150 participants, including officials and students, attended the program organized by the National Ayush Mission and District Ayush Society. Yoga and naturopathy physician from Tura Civil Hospital, Dr. Sambu Aryal, highlighted the benefits of yoga in preventing lifestyle diseases, while homeopathic physician Dr. Balchi D. Momin emphasized the role of Ayurveda, yoga and homeopathy in promoting holistic health, stress management and healthy aging.
So in our regional, like in Meghalaya, we do not have the Unani and the Siddha system. We have only the Ayurveda and the yoga and homeopathy system. And in West Garo Hills, the homeopathy system and Ayurvedic and the yoga system are very much active in catering to the needs of the community in giving the alternative system of medicine.
Usually we celebrate this every year in this occasion with different theme every year in a nationwide. And this year also we celebrated in advance on 19 June 2026. This year theme they have given us a yoga for healthy aging, how we can do yoga and then will remain healthy. Apart from that, we have prescribed, we have done here, we have demonstrated according to Common Yoga Protocol, what is there in the Common Yoga Protocol, which is formed by Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Apart from that, this yoga is International Yoga Day is organized by National Ayush Mission.
A Meghalaya registered Tata Punch rammed into the rear of a slow-moving dumper truck on the Nongpor main road at around 10 p.m. on Thursday. The dumper, carrying stone chips from Killing to Paham's Aim, was reportedly moving slowly when the collision occurred. The impact severely damaged the front portion of the Tata Punch, injuring its driver, who was rushed to Civil Hospital Nongpor for treatment. Police arrived at the scene, launched an investigation and later towed both vehicles to the police station for further inquiry. The Office of the District Election Officer, Southwest Garo Hills, conducted a training program for booth-level officers at the 53 Ampati and 54 Mahendraganj Assembly constituencies ahead of the special intensive revision of electoral rolls with October 1st, 2026 as the qualifying date. Addressing the program, Additional Deputy Commissioner Election Dr. W.C.R. Marak highlighted the importance of the revision exercise in maintaining accurate and inclusive electoral rolls. He emphasized the key role of BLOs in ensuring eligible citizens are enrolled in while removing ineligible entries due to death, migration or duplication. Moving ahead to the regional news. BJP MLA from Amri constituency, Dr. Habi Teron, has been named the Deputy Speaker of the 16th Assam Legislative Assembly. The announcement was made by Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma. A first-time MLA and medical professional, Dr. Teron represents the newly created Amri constituency in West Karbi Anglong district. His appointment is expected to be formally approved during the Assam Assembly's budget session beginning on July 6th. CM Sarma said Tehran's elevation would strengthen the representation of tribal communities and the voices of Karbi Anglong and Dima Hasao in the legislative process.
I will be always concentrated to my people, that is from where I have been elected, and especially Amri LA is in comparison with others LA or other district. We can say that Amri LA is the most backward area, and with this opportunity, I want to transform this the most backward into the front island, and I want to bring them up. I want them to be most developed, especially in that particular area, in that particular constituency. There is highly potentials of tourism, so I want to focus that also.
Now we move ahead to the national news. President Draupadi Murmu has expressed confidence that India would eliminate sickle cell disease well before the national target year of 2047 and called for greater awareness about the genetic disorder, particularly among tribal communities. Addressing a World Sickle Cell Day program in Omkareshwar, Madhya Pradesh, the president urged states to strengthen efforts against the disease and praised the progress made under the National Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Mission.
एनीमिया मुझे विश्वास है कि सभी प्रदेशों के सम्मेलन शक्ति और सक्रियता से हम वर्ष 2047 से बहुत पहले ही देश में से सिकल सेल संबंधी रोगी के उन्मूलन की अपने राष्ट्रीय लक्ष्य में अवश्य सफल होंगे। देश में जनजातीय समुदाय के लोगों के सबसे बड़ी संख्या मध्य प्रदेश और ओडिशा में है। मैं आशा करती हूं कि मध्य प्रदेश द्वारा जनजातीय विकास के अनेक प्रतिमान स्थापित किए जाएंगे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has concluded his two-nation visit to France and Slovakia, during which he attended the G7 summit in France and held bilateral meetings with several world leaders, including US President Donald Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron. Addressing the Indian diasporas in Paris last night, Modi said India is emerging as a trusted global partner and emphasized the importance of trust-based international cooperation. In Slovakia, he met President Peter Pellegrini and received the country's highest civilian honor, the Order of the White Double Cross, First Class.
एक समय था जब देशों के बीच रिश्ते केवल व्यापार से तय होते थे। आज व्यापार के साथ साथ ट्रस्ट यानी भरोसा भी उतना ही महत्वपूर्ण हो गया है। हर देश रिलायबल सप्लाई चेन चाहता है। हर देश स्टेबल पार्टनरशिप चाहता है। हर देश ऐसे साथियों की तलाश में है जिन पर लंबे समय तक भरोसा किया जा सके, और ऐसे समय में भारत विश्व में एक ट्रस्टेड पार्टनर के रूप में उभर रहा है।
Now it's time for some international news. India has strongly rejected allegations made by Pakistan at the 62nd session of the UN Human Rights Council, accusing Islamabad of using international platforms to raise bilateral issues and divert attention from its domestic challenges. Speaking on India's right of reply, First Secretary at India's permanent mission to the UN, Anupama Singh, dismissed Pakistan's claims as baseless and malicious. She also rejected references to Jammu and Kashmir and said Pakistan was using propaganda to conceal domestic failures and support for terrorism.
India is compelled to exercise its right of reply in response to references made to it by Pakistan and the OIC. We categorically reject the baseless and malicious allegations made by Pakistan. We also categorically reject the references to J&K made by the OIC. Pakistan's propaganda is designed to mask its domestic failures and support for terrorism. Its misuse of the OIC coordinator's role only reinforces this deception. We have no desire to dignify such propaganda. However, we would like to make a few points. For the record, Jammu and Kashmir was, is, and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. The only unresolved issue is Pakistan's illegal occupation of Indian territories and their return. Mr. Vice President, Pakistan's propaganda cannot obscure the reality of repression in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir.
Planned talks between the United States and Iran in Switzerland on implementing a peace pact to end the Middle East conflict have been postponed, raising uncertainty over the future of the fragile ceasefire. The White House said U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance had suspended travel plans to Switzerland, while Swiss authorities confirmed the negotiations would not take place as scheduled. The discussions were expected to focus on the implementation of a recently signed agreement aimed at extending the ceasefire and easing regional tensions following months of conflict. Global oil prices rose today as uncertainty over a potential US-Iran peace agreement and escalating tensions in the Middle East weigh on markets. Market sentiment was affected after planned talks between US and Iranian negotiators in Switzerland were called off on Friday as Vice President J.D. Vance dropped his travel plans, adding to uncertainty over the prospects for a lasting truce. Now for the sports news. In the FIFA World Cup, Mexico became the first team to qualify for the round of 32 after defeating South Korea by 1-0 at Guadalajara Stadium today. Following a tactical scoreless first half where clear chances was passed, the decisive breakthrough arrived in the 50th minute. Mexican midfielder Luis Romo capitalized on a major defensive blunder, turning the ball into an empty net after South Korean goalkeeper Kim Sung-gu collided with his own defender Lee Ji-hook and spilt a high ball. Cape Verde goalkeeper Vozina has expressed joy after learning that his mother, Ana Candida Ivora, has secured a US visa and will be able to attend Cape Verde's World Cup match against Uruguay. The 40-year-old goalkeeper became a national hero after earning Player of the Match honours in Cape Verde's historic 0-0 draw against Spain. His emotional post-match remarks about his mother's absence due to visa issues drew widespread attention, leading to support that helped facilitate her travel. Vozina has said having his family in the stands would be special, but stressed that the team remains focused on football ahead of Sunday's clash with Uruguay.
For me, this is very important because all the family, it's important for me, and all my family always support me in everything. And to have she here, for me, it's something special. My father also is here, my brother, so I am very happy. I wish I could bring more some part of my families, maybe my brothers and sister and nephews, but I think some things, sometimes it's difficult, but I am very happy for this.
The weather report. First, let's take a look at the weather report in Tura. The minimum temperature 24 degrees Celsius, maximum temperature 30 degrees Celsius, relative humidity 77% and rainfall was recorded at 1.0 millimeter. Moving on to Shillong, the minimum temperature 19 degrees Celsius, maximum temperature 25 degrees Celsius, relative humidity 83% and rainfall 8.9 millimeter. Meanwhile, in July, the minimum temperature 20 degrees Celsius and the maximum temperature 24 degrees Celsius, relative humidity 84% and rainfall 1.6 millimeter. And the forecast in Tura, Shillong and July says cloudy sky with moderate rain likely to occur at many places. And now, before we end the news, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi concludes France and Slovakia visit after G7 summit participation and high-level talks with global leaders. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman inaugurates Northeast's largest organic spice processing unit in Ribhoi district. Rising tourist footfall in Meghalaya sparks concerns over environmental sustainability and visitor safety. And Meghalaya marks International Day of Yoga as Health Minister announces Ayush Medical College plan in West Garo Hills. Well, viewers, with that, we have come to the end of the news bulletin. Do join us again tomorrow for more news update on our breakfast news at 9 a.m. Until then, thank you for watching and good night.